The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mindgarden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. Look at us. Here we are.
Yes. Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. This is really strange. I think it's
strange because we haven't done it for so long. I forgot how to do it.
I know. I was just telling Dave before I came upstairs that I think it's been like at least a couple years, maybe more.
Probably.
Yeah. Like life got in the way.
Maybe 3 years.
I think it's probably been 3 years because I don't think it's been at least since, and we were just talking about this before we went live a few years ago. We haven't seen each other in person in 3 years because it's just about the 3-year anniversary a couple weeks ago of our second trip out to Wisconsin. We went to Door County for the weekend.
That's right.
So I don't think we've had a live cast since then. So
yeah, and so much has changed. We actually decided to do this primarily because I just got a new gig.
Yay!
And I'll be doing more podcasting and using my setup. So I've been kind of testing some stuff out. And I thought, why don't we just do an actual live cast and see how it goes?
So I'm a guinea pig.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Typical.
the first time.
No, not at all.
Not the first time in your life. So thank you for doing it. Because I know, getting ready on a Sunday morning isn't necessarily your favorite thing in the world. It's certainly not mine.
I'm going to go with no.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah.
But also, I mean, some crazy crap went down in the paranormal world in the last week or so.
It sure did. And it's weird because I was just there where it happened. Like, I literally not only was in the town. Hi, Deej. Welcome. It's good to talk to you. So, Vicky, hello. Oh my gosh. It's like our whole crew back in the live world with us. Tammy, good morning. Yay. So, it's been 3 kids. It has been 3 kids, Damon. So not only the town that Annabelle was in, but the actual building that Annabelle was in, which I have to admit, it was a little bit creepy. Thinking back on it and thinking, okay, this doll and this all kind of mess that is going on right now.
Yeah.
Originated from the location that I was just in like a week and a half, 2 weeks before. So that's really crazy to me. So let's talk about what's been going on with you, though.
Well, again, excuse me. One of the reasons I was not around as much is just I was working for a gig for like 2.5 years. Right. And it was all consuming. It was one of those jobs where they just wanted everything they could get from you. Mm-hmm. And I finally was able to walk away from it. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm leaving a job that I really enjoyed, but was putting in too much time and quite honestly not getting the appreciation or the help for it. Right. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to be working with a friend of mine. He is a big time podcaster, has some of the top podcasts in the country, including Real Ghost Stories Online, which I've been doing for a number of years. But also does True Crime Today, which is all about like the Koberger cases and all that kind of stuff.
I've actually been watching that
a
lot more lately. I would watch it occasionally just because I know Tony through you. You know, I'm familiar with Tony. And
right.
Tony did our
intro. Right.
So, but now that once I knew that you were going to be doing more, I really wanted to study it because my full-time gig is podcasts.
Right.
And so I really wanted to kind of study his video portions of everything. And it's just a fantastic podcast.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
Like, really well done. And that's coming from someone who literally works in the field and watches this stuff. And it's really well done. So honestly, anything Tony Bruschi and now Todd Deering, I highly recommend, because it really is quality stuff. Really
The imposter syndrome thing kicks in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there, God, I hope I can live up to his standards.
Yeah, I know, right? But
Totally.
You will.
Yeah, hopefully.
You will.
So looking forward to doing that, but I kind of wanted to test out the studio, and I thought, as long as I've got it set up and I wanted to see what it actually looked like, I thought maybe you and I could do a live cast.
Yeah.
Talk about the Annabelle tragedy.
Yes, which a lot of people are doing. And I've been kind of, even before we discussed this, because I don't think we even discussed this till yesterday, did we?
Right, we're like, you want to do a live? Sure, let's do it.
I was on my way to a rock and gem show at the the county fairgrounds.
Show everybody what you got. Show everybody what you got.
Oh, I got some henna done yesterday. Yeah. And all the stuff came off, and that was really, really, and it's really cool. So hopefully it'll last a while. It's beautiful. Absolutely.
So let me just let everybody know what she said when she said that the stuff came off. When she showed me a picture of it, it was all full of glitter. And I'm thinking, okay, that's going to be all over their car. That's going to be all over their house. So the first thing I asked you this morning was, how's the glitter? Where is it all over everything?
It's not, because what she does is, if you're not familiar with henna, it's basically a stain. So it's a liquid stain. It's not an actual tattoo. I have plenty of those. It goes on top of the skin. And then what it does is it dries eventually, and it'll just peel off by the end of the day, most of it. And whatever doesn't come off, you take off yourself, because underneath it is where the stain is. So there's different things you have to do to make sure it lasts as long as possible. But the glitter she put on right after she did it, so it literally was kind of embedded in the stain. So when it dried, it just kind of stayed there. But I'm not going to lie, like, some of it did come off on my shirt, and I was kind of, because I had magenta glitter on my shirt, which drove me crazy, because I'm a little bit, what's the word? OCD.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit OCD.
I was thinking more pain in the ass, but that's.
Well, I'm that too.
Right.
So yeah. So this is it should darken a bit within about 24 more hours, but it was so cool. It was a really cool experience. And when we were in Door County a few years ago, we were in Fish Creek, and we went to this little metaphysical shop. That's where they had that giant rooster that you made me stand in front of. And
I wanted you to get on top of it, but you wouldn't do that. No.
So, but they didn't have the henna girl there that day, so I was really disappointed. So I'm really excited, and it was a wonderful rock and gem show. I got some really cool stuff, and but we decided while I was basically on the way that we were going to do this live stream today. So I'm excited. We haven't done it in a while, and I always had fun with them, and maybe we could do more.
All right.
Yeah.
So you want to start talking about Annabelle here a little bit?
Yes. Why don't you give kind of the whole background story of Annabelle, in case anybody isn't 100% sure?
So these aren't like all the exact details, but basically back in the 1970s, what everybody thought was a innocent Raggedy Ann doll was gifted to a young nursing student. Her name was Donna. But what she thought was a charming keepsake turned out to be something else.
Right.
This doll, according to her, would move slightly at first, changing positions when no one was watching. And then it escalated. Scribbled notes appeared on parchment paper that no one owned. That was going on. Doors were creaking by themselves. And one night, blood was found. Real blood seeping from the doll's tiny hands. Now, this is what Donna was reporting.
Okay.
So Donna turned to a medium who claimed the doll was possessed by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. Now, the story didn't end there. paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren got involved, and what they discovered was far darker than anyone had imagined. They believed the Annabelle spirit was actually a demonic entity using the doll as a conduit to reach its human hosts.
Okay.
Its true goal, they thought, was possession. Now, if you've seen the movies Annabelle, and you've seen that doll in the movies, it looks nothing like the actual doll. The doll is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Right.
And let's all remember the pictures of you and your husband, poor Dave, dressing up as Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Are you going to show
Halloween.
that?
I don't think I have.
Okay. All right, good.
Damn it. See, I'm already
good,
losing
though.
because that would have been a perfect segue.
Well,
So-
the way you said it sounded like you were getting ready because I know you that well.
Yeah.
But
So Ed and Lorraine took possession of that doll, and they took it straight to their home in Monroe, Connecticut, where they were going to put it in their occult museum. But apparently on the drive home, the Warrens reported that sudden violent swerves of the car happened. Their brakes failed. The engine stalled repeatedly. Ed doused the doll with some holy water, said a protective prayer, and then the journey resumed. Now, once inside the museum, placed behind sacred glass, locked tight, and bound with protection prayers. Well, check it. Even behind the glass, apparently some stuff happened. I don't know if you're aware of this, but apparently a young priest who's very skeptical mocked the doll during a visit. He banged on the glass, laughing in defiance. Ed basically said, hey, show some respect on this thing. But the priest left unconvinced. Hours later on his way home, guess what happened to him? He died in a violent motorcycle crash. His brakes failed.
right.
Another guest reportedly tapped on the glass, joking that Annabelle was just a rag doll on the drive home. He lost control of his car. He survived, but he swears he saw the doll's face in the rearview mirror. So Lorraine believed that Annabelle wasn't just haunted; she was manipulative. She didn't move anymore, not visibly, but she didn't have to because visitors at the museum reported nausea, headaches, sudden chills, nightmares after seeing her. They claimed they heard faint scratching from inside the case, even whispers, even though nobody else was nearby at the time. Here's the thing. They wanted that doll locked up in their quote unquote museum to stay safe from the public.
Right.
Unfortunately, others had other ideas.
Right.
Right?
Yes, that's right. And it's interesting because I even heard a story, Todd, at one point, and I don't know if it's true or not, but there have been witnesses to the doll's head moving inside the case. And a few other little things, but that one kind of always stuck with me that there's been movement inside the case. You know how I feel about dolls. I hate dolls.
And for those that don't remember, why don't you tell everybody what I did?
Oh, and Lisa's not getting away with this either. You and Lisa decided, I think that was a few years ago now, because you know how much I hate dolls. You decided to send me on, I think, 2 or 3 separate occasions, dolls, creepy freaking dolls with no idea where they came from, just out of the blue. I had no idea. It was literally like one of the best pranks I've ever knowingly or unknowingly been a part of. Okay,
So
because I was freaked out.
I do want to preface this by saying, so one of Lisa's a friend of the show and a friend of mine and a friend of ours. And she has this business where they buy stuff in estate sales and then they resell the stuff that is worthy. And so she got a lot, not like a lot, but a lot, meaning a whole purchase of these old dolls. And I'm not sure if I came up with the idea, but I think she may have. I'm not trying to place the blame anywhere else.
Well,
But I
whatever, it was ingenious because you guys actually had people that I had no idea who it was send them to me. There was like somebody in Pennsylvania sending me this doll, and I'm like, what is going on?
So now I remember the story. I'm like, we should send these to her anonymously. And Lisa's like, but then she'll know it's from us because it'll come from the the zip code. And she goes, I know people in Pennsylvania and I know people in, I don't know, Utah or whatever. I'll send them to them and have them ship it. Brilliant.
it was brilliant. It really was. And I'm going to give you guys all the credit in the world because it was brilliant. And I will say this, when I opened, I think you sent 2 dolls at once, and then there was a 3rd doll that came after that or something.
And let me tell you, there were more. I think they're still at her place, but there were like tons more. There were going to be several shipments.
What I don't think you even expected was the fact, and everybody knows that I can feel, I'm a psychic medium. I opened that thing, both of those packages, and the minute I touched those dolls, they had energy attached to them.
Of course.
They literally had energy attached to them. So now I'm freaking out even more because now I've got dolls from people I don't know for a reason I don't know. And they have energy. So I immediately said, Dave, get these in the garage. And I made him take them out into the garage, and I let them sit there for several days. I wouldn't go out in the garage for
You don't have them anymore?
No, I actually, what I did was because
this is the true Sandy. I know. I don't know for sure what you're going to say, but I think I know.
No, what I did do was I cleansed them because I will say this, it wasn't like a negative energy in any way. It was just, you could tell that there was some energy attached to these dolls from whoever had them before.
Right.
And it was almost like residual energy, but I could feel that. And because I was so unsure of what the heck was going on when I got them, I kind of panicked a little bit because why am I getting these dolls and why do they have energy attached to them? So once I calmed down a little bit, I did cleanse them and they felt much, much better. And then I gave them to someone who collects dolls and everything. So they ended up in a good place, but she
gave them to somebody terrifying. Who she wanted to curse and.
I know, right? No, the evil eye. No. They were fine. They had been, I cleansed them. Everything was fine with them. And so I was able to give them to somebody who really deserved them and, had a little girl.
Deej just said Sandy surrounded the dolls with her crystals.
You know Probably. What? I basically did. I took some crystals out to the garage with me, Deej, and I did some smudging and I did some protection prayers. I called on St. Michael, all that good stuff. And it was just a quick little thing, but they felt 150% better when I was done. I think I kind of neutralized any energy that was there, and then they were fine.
I feel like I failed to a certain extent. I failed the project because I saw how worked up you were, and as evil as I can be, and trust me, I can be, I felt bad. So I had to come clean, I think.
Yeah, you did.
Right away.
But
also because I couldn't keep in the laughter. I'm freaking laughing about it so hard, and I don't think you could understand why I was laughing.
But I had to give you guys credit where credit is due. I mean, that was genius. It really was. And I could say this like 3 years later and I'm sure it happened after Wisconsin because you wouldn't be here if it had happened before the last Wisconsin trip because I would have strangled you. So, but yeah, it was a few years ago, I think. I think it was the fall after that trip. So it was probably late 2022. So it's been a while. But it was a great prank. You guys did a great job with it. I have to give you credit.
So I actually went and found a picture of the actual doll. That is a picture of Annabelle.
Yes.
That's the actual Annabelle doll. Now, I'm not sure if that's the case in the Warrens Museum or if that's the other case that was made so that they could drag this thing all over the freaking country.
Well,
who thought that was a good idea, by the way?
All right. Well, let's, do you still have that video I sent you the other day? Can we actually play that?
Which video?
The one I sent, I said, did you see this where they were transferring the doll?
I might be able to.
Well, let's talk. We'll leave that for last because I think that's like a big deal. But see if you can find it though. And let's really first, let's talk about what we do know about the whole situation. Okay. Because I'm the kind of person I have to write everything down because it's hard for me to process unless I have something. It's how I learn about anything. I write it down. So I sat down last night and I kind of wrote out some notes about what we do know about the situation, about the doll and everything like that. So the first thing, And you alluded to this. Ed and Lorraine consistently stated that Annabelle should never be removed from its case due to its alleged demonic nature and the potential for harm. So for years, they kept that doll locked in a glass case at the Occult Museum,
right,
with a warning sign that read positively, do not open. They believed that if the doll was moved or tampered with, it could cause serious harm or death. Now, a lot of people don't know this part, but in 2019, the museum actually closed because of zoning violations. Now, I think there was something else that was going on. I think the museum actually at one point was with their nephew, John Zaffis, who I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times. He's very well known in the paranormal community. He's had a couple shows. He did oh gosh, what was the name of that show he did, like Haunted Objects or something?
Yeah, something like that. And
I've met him a couple times. He did, some of our local colleges like to schedule like paranormal investigators, demonologists around Halloween time that you can go. The community is invited, you can go. And I've gone to a couple of his and had the opportunity to speak with him afterwards. Really, really genuine, nice guy. He's very Bostonian. He's got the accent and everything. Just a really laid back kind of guy. Now, he hasn't really been in the spotlight in years, but I think that maybe it was before that at some point or after that originally that they moved some of the stuff to John's house, like into a barn in the back of John's house, if I remember correctly. And so also a lot of people don't know this, but Annabelle has been on tour, so to speak, for several years now, because not only have they been moving the museum around to different Paracons and locations. I think they were I know they were just in New Orleans on the tour, but they unofficially have been at all the different Paracons. They were just at the Ohio State Reformatory, I think it was, their Paracon. And you would pay, and they have their own, the Warrens Paracon, that I was going to go to this year if they were going to do it again, but I haven't heard anything, so I wasn't going. But you can pay extra on your ticket to go into the museum and see Annabelle and stuff. So they've been doing this for years. This is not anything new. But this on tour type of thing, where they're literally just taking the doll and a few of the objects, has been going on now for several months. But so it's nothing new. People who weren't aware of that thought that this was the big tour, but it really wasn't. It's been happening for probably at least a few years, if not more. I
have been able to get the video.
Oh, good. Do
you want to roll that?
Let's save that one for last, because I think that's a big deal. I think that's a really big deal.
See how she's learned to build up?
Yeah, I know.
She saves the big stuff for last.
I know. Well, I think that's one of the most telling things in this whole thing. So I think it was like July 13th. No, it was a couple weeks ago. Right after Dave and I were in Gettysburg. We were in Gettysburg mid-June, and I knew that Annabelle was coming. And so that's when if you've been listening to the show, I decided, I know you couldn't make it out, but I said, okay, I'm going to go take the Gettysburg Orphanage tour myself. And you go at like 10:30 at night, and it's really cool. You go in the orphanage, and then you stay there for about 40 minutes or so, and you go explore it. And then you go to the Jenny. Wait, is that one of the dolls? That is one of the dolls. That is what. Did Lisa send you that, or did you find that?
I literally just realized I had these loaded in from when we used to do the lives.
Yeah, that just in and of itself, without energy. I hate dolls. I hate them. And ironically, yes, that was the note. That was enough. I was like, what the F is going on right now, right?
God.
So, and ironically, this is funny too. Ironically, when I was very, very little, I had a doll that I would carry around with me everywhere. And my parents took me to the state fair when I was like 4, and I left the doll there. And I cried, and I threw such a fit that they had to go back to the state fair and check with Lost and Found. And guess what it was? A Raggedy Ann doll.
Was it really?
I called her my Raggy Andy. Yes, and I had a Raggedy Ann doll. So I thought that was kind of funny. So we went to Gettysburg, and I took the tour, and I explained in full detail all the experiences I had. That orphanage is very heavy with not only energy, but there is a very large amount of very dark energy, very heavy energy in that orphanage. It was something I wasn't expecting. I'll put it that way. You know, I've been in some pretty dark places, and I didn't feel the same way I felt at this orphanage. It was just, it permeated. And, you know, not only was it an orphanage, it was an orphanage during the Civil War, but it really came into prominence after the Battle of Gettysburg. But it was also a field hospital during the battle. So you've got a lot of deaths and dead bodies in there. You've got all the horrific history of the orphanage itself. And Rosa Carmichael, who was the headmistress, who would essentially torture these children in many different ways. So you've got a lot of dark energy there. And just remember that, because we'll come back to some of our theories about stuff in a moment. But it really creeped me out to know that I was just at that orphanage a couple of weeks before that and experienced all the stuff that I experienced. And yeah, it kind of makes a lot more sense to me in some ways that things went down like they did. Not to say that it is directly or indirectly related to the gentleman who passed, unfortunately, and my heart goes out to him, his family, and his friends. But it is an interesting idea. So let's talk about this video. I had seen something on social media about this video and about how, what's the one thing they tell you not to do? Don't take her out of the case.
Right.
Well, apparently they took her out of the case. That's what I'm hearing. And then I saw this video. So play this video. I want to know what everybody thinks about this, because I'm kind of not sure what I think.
All right. Check this out, everybody. See if I can get this to play.
Could the infamous Annabelle Doll have claimed another victim this year? Paranormal investigator and handler Dan Rivera, who was touring with the haunted doll as part of the Devils on the Run nationwide tour, was found dead in his hotel room during their stop in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Annabelle's next stop, guys. Augusta, Maine.
Rivera was 54 years old. The tour featured Annabelle and other eerie artifacts from the Ed and Lorraine Warren collection. While the official cause of death has not yet been released, people are already blaming the doll. Coincidence or curse? Let me know what you think in the comments.
He's going to move the doll out of this case into that original case that Ed Warren had set up. Why we're doing it, because we need to do a few repairs on this. We need to restain the entire case. And when Dan does it, he restains it with holy water and holy oil infused in the stain. And we need to do some little minor repairs to reinforce it. So we need to take the doll out of that.
So the gentleman who was speaking, I believe, is Tony Spera. He is their nephew, and he has essentially taken over the New England Society for Paranormal Research, which was Ed and Lorraine Warren's organization.
What's your take on him? I mean, here's the thing. You could have a take on the Warrens if you wanted. And I know that we have both said how we feel about the Warrens, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
I think that he gives an air of, I don't want to say it like this, but I I don't know that he's sort of like a used car salesman to me. And whether and I'm not going to say whether he's legitimate, whether he's sincere in the things that he does. I do know he loved his aunt and uncle very much. He grew up around them all the time. He learned everything from them. But I think that his way, and again, when you're from that part of the country, you tend to be a little bit more out there, a little bit more loud. It's sort of like New Yorkers, New York City people. They tend to be a little more abrasive, a little bit more loud, a little bit more out there. So I give that to him, but I just don't feel like I have the same level of understanding of him as I kind of did Ed and Lorraine. And I know a lot of people think that they were shysters, and I sound like I'm 85 by saying that word, but
a little bit.
But, I know that, but I do believe that in the end, their hearts were in the right place. And I do believe, we said this before, that was their chosen livelihood. That was how they made a living. Everybody's got to live. Nobody can do it for free. And I think they did not live
extravagantly, though. I mean, they lived very modestly. I mean, maybe upper middle class, but more like middle class.
That is without a doubt. I don't know if you've ever seen their home, but I was watching a video once on YouTube where you can't get even near their home. So, but because it's posted, but you can kind of see the house. You can stand at the side of the road. It wasn't a mansion. It was a suburban looking house. It wasn't, any of us would be living in it. So unless they had gazillions of dollars hidden in Swiss bank accounts, I don't think they were that rich off of this stuff, especially with people telling them they were liars and they were, but Tony's a little different to me. He's just a little bit more out there, a little more abrasive. Not to say that he's not legitimate, but I feel like he is the kind of person that does use it almost as his tool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's his livelihood.
That's his livelihood. He just happens to do it in a little bit louder way. Let's put it that way. I don't think the Warrens would ever in a million years have considered doing what has been done.
I don't think so either. I don't think they would have ever taken this thing out of the house.
Not at all. Not at all. And so it makes me nervous.
Well, and here's the other question is like, you've got a case that's already built for it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of condition that thing is in, but let's say you do want to take this thing on the road. And I will also say this. I've had friends say, they knew what they were possibly getting into. It's like, when you investigate and you do paranormal investigations, you can be as careful as you want to be. But the truth of the matter is, some bad stuff can still happen to you, right? We talk about that all the time. So you knew you were doing this. You knew the consequences of possibly doing this, whether his death was tied into the doll or the tour or not. We don't know, but.
And I will say again that is what the internet, that is what social media says is when that happened, that they moved the doll at the orphanage. We don't know for sure that that's where it was.
Well, it looked to me like they were actually at the location where they keep the other doll. To me, it looked like they weren't necessarily at. I can't tell for sure, but that's why I wanted to put that out there. Like, just because some people are saying that's what it was doesn't necessarily. But what it does do is show you that they are more than willing to do that they will move that doll. So apparently the doll, the case they took it out of was the tour case. Right.
And the case that they put it into was Ed's original case. So it was supposed to be temporary. But he's putting on gloves like he's going to handle a falcon. And he's saying some prayers. And I just don't know that that's really good. You know, even holy water, I don't know how much that's a wall of protection in a case like this. If indeed the doll is a vessel for a negative demonic energy, or, I don't know. But I just don't know that I would want to play with that because nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows for sure.
Let me ask you this. Okay, you're either Ed Warren or Lorraine Warren, your choice. And you come across all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Brianna says, hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
Would you even want that stuff in your house? No. Like if you wanted to, let's say you and I were out collecting haunted shit, right? Wouldn't we get like a huge storage place and lock it away there? Would you want it in what seems like maybe their basement or a room off to the side? Would you even want that in your home where you sleep and live? Because I don't care how much holy water you have. I don't care how many crucifixes you have or how many prayers you say. Are you trusting that nothing's going to get out and you're around that all the time? It's kind of like having black mold in your house as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, I don't even think that a case is going to save you.
Of course not.
I don't understand. I've never understood why it's safer to have the doll in a case. Like, I don't understand. I'm going to say that right out. I don't understand that stuff, but I don't understand why it would be considered safer to put the doll in a case and think that's going to, if indeed it is a vessel for demons or a demon. I don't understand how that's supposed to specifically keep it, I don't care if it's blessed glass. I don't care what it is. I don't understand how that happens. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, the Warrens, apparently their occult museum was in a barn on their property. And even John Zaffis, I do remember even John Zaffis had it in a barn, a shed in his backyard.
Then I'm mistaken because I thought it was actually in the house.
I don't think so. I could be mixing the two up, but I'm positive that John Zaffis had his in a backyard barn or shed. But I'm pretty sure the Warrens had theirs back there too. In the back of, it wasn't in their home. Okay. I mean, even in my studio where I've had some really weird things going on, I don't feel like that's negative. I don't feel like anything in my studio. I haven't gotten any impressions that anything is haunted per se or a vessel for something. I personally, for me, I feel like I get the vibe that it's either some loved ones of mine coming to visit, letting me know they're here, and or it's a safe space for any energies that any spirits, any energies, because of all the energies in my crystals, that they can come and they can feel safe. Because on a regular basis, I smudge, I cleanse, I set intentions, I do this, I do that. There's selenite above my door and window in here. I carry it through in all of my intentions to my whole house, to my I do it on a regular basis. I've never had anything negative happen in here ever. Thank goodness.
Amy just said I'd have it contained by lead walls surrounded by salt walls. I mean, right?
Right.
It's just a wooden box with glass. I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like if you're taking this seriously, then why are you putting it in a case with a glass front? Why are you even taking it anywhere? Why are you doing this? It's suspect to me. I mean, it is. It's just, think of it in anything in life. If somebody is telling you that something is dangerous, incredibly dangerous for you, but yet they put you in the proximity of it and charge you X amount of money.
See, I wouldn't even go to that event. And, I would not go to an event that had haunted shit.
I just don't feel comfortable. I guess, Todd, what it is because we are people who have experienced things. We have investigated, we have experienced the positive and the negative. Not to the extent that this thing can bring upon you, supposedly, but I guess we understand it more. And let me give you an example. When I was on the orphanage tour, there were a lot of people there. And we experienced this in St. Augustine, Florida. If everybody remembers the St. Augustine Lighthouse, that the ghost hunters were there, and they did it years ago. It was probably like 20.
God, don't say that.
I don't know when it was.
Oh, 2014. I thought you were going to say 20 years ago. I guess please don't say that. But it probably is that long ago.
No, I think we were there in 2014. So
gotcha.
It would have to be 2013 to 2014. So it had to be a couple years before that. And they had actual footage of the shadow person looking down over the top railing in the thing. So we went to that tour. They called it the Dark of the Moon tour. And we had about 20 people in the tour. And I would say probably 18 of those people, Dave and I not included, didn't take it seriously. It was just a thrill. Whereas when they split us up at the end, they said to us, anybody who wants to go in the keeper's cottage can go in the keeper's cottage. Anybody who wants to go in the lighthouse go, or on the grounds go this way. 18 people went to the lighthouse because of ghost hunters.
Yep.
And Dave and I went to the keeper's cottage because we knew that those people were there for a thrill. Let them have their thrill. That's wonderful. But we wanted to see what we could get. And sure enough, Dave and I interacted with a couple of spirits in the keeper's cottage. It's the same with Gettysburg, okay? So you've got different types of people. You've got people who are there for the history, people who are there for the thrill of it. Oh, I hope I see something, but who haven't really experienced much of it. And then you've got the real hardcore people who have experienced it. Maybe they're investigators. Maybe they've had many personal experiences and they kind of get it. And you've got your group, you've got your combination history lovers and whatever. When I was on the Gettysburg tour for the orphanage, I think I was the only person that was actually there because I've had experiences. I'm not trying to make myself out to be wonderful, but I've had experiences. I've investigated tens and tens and tens of times over the years. And I have personal experiences. I have an appreciation for it. I was there to see what I could experience and not in a thrill kind of part. So I think what you get is people, for the most part, at the Paracons who would go to the Gettysburg Orphanage for the Annabelle tour. I think for the most part, you're getting curiosity type people, people who don't understand it completely, who haven't, and I'm not saying I understand it completely, but you're getting people who are very novice in anything like that and just want that excitement. And, we saw, this is the movie, this is the doll that the movie was based off of. And so I don't think that you're getting the people. I've thought so much about this in the last couple of weeks. In the beginning, maybe a year or so ago, when I was going to go to their Paracon, I thought, well, maybe I'll go. I won't get close to the doll, but I'll go in and I'll see it and stuff. And I would not. I think this has really changed my mind about a lot of things having to do with artifacts and things. I can't even go into I don't even collect antiques anymore. I used to love going into antique stores and collecting things. But between my abilities developing over the years and the fact that I kind of now understand what's going on, I unless it's something I really want and I'm willing to, do cleansing on it, and I just don't go into those stores that much anymore. So
I will ask this for Damon and for longtime viewers, listeners of the podcast. So where's the line when it comes to you will do something, you won't do something, you will walk through a black mist, you won't go see Annabelle, you will dance on a grave, you won't? Well, I will say this. I know you're trying to be funny, but it is. And I am funny, damn it. Well, that's up for debate. We should have a live cast debating Todd's funniness. Bring it in, people, right now. Bring it in, people. Let me know. Am I funny? I'm funny. It's so good to be back. But, with each... I'm not even going to discuss the dancing on the grave because she deserved that. I'm just saying she deserved that. But,
you live and learn, you know, and after the, honestly, the mist was an experience that I will never forget in my life. It wasn't,
Sure.
I did not feel harmed. I did not feel harmed in any way. I did not feel scared. It wasn't something that,
Look at the votes
guys,
coming in.
You
Look
guys,
at all the votes coming in. Todd is hilarious. Thank you, Amy.
oh
Amy's a
my
long time
God.
friend from high school.
Dear Lord, don't stroke his ego. So, but it's all a learning experience. And I think it really, I've been in some places that, and Damon will attest to this. There was one building in Trudeau, sanatorium grounds that we investigated a couple of years ago that none of us would ever go back again. I think generally speaking, we all feel as if it should be just destroyed, and not used for anything anymore. It's just not a good place. So you learn as you go. And I think that unfortunately, this is a case where it was to the extreme. Again, I don't know that we'll be debating this forever, and the autopsy results will take weeks before we hear about it. And what they say was they're a heart condition. We know that many times people have heart conditions and nobody knows until they have a heart attack and pass away. Yeah. Or any condition for that matter. And so my heart just completely goes out to this man and his family and his friends and the people who loved him, because from all I understand, he was just a really great guy, like a really good person. But
he was playing around with Annabelle.
But he was playing with fire. He was playing with fire. And does the doll have anything to do with his passing? I don't know. I do think it's awfully interesting that it's sort of like, I said this many times in our podcast over the years, it's like that perfect storm. Everything kind of fell into place.
This will just be added to the whole list of things that happened surrounding the doll, whether the doll was
legend
involved.
of Annabelle.
Yes, it's all going to be part of it.
Yeah, whether it's true or not, we don't know. I don't know. My jury's out. I really would like to hear what the autopsy results are, and see what is said there, because honestly, science is science, but did it exacerbate it? Did it make it happen? We don't know. We're never going to know for sure. Do I think that they're messing with something that shouldn't be messed with? 150%.
I think you're just better off not doing that and just, moving on.
You know what, Todd? I think that my life is not going to change at all whether or not I see that doll in person. It's not going to change. My life is going to go on. I don't need to see that doll. I don't need to contribute to whatever is going on there. I don't need to contribute to it. I don't need to see it. And I'm sure that now, I'm not so sure. I don't know. Will the doll ever show up again? I don't know. Will they be charging people to go in and see the doll? I don't know.
I'm sure. Don't you think?
Time will tell.
Let's do a bet. Let's do a bet. I bet they continue. And whether his death had anything to do with the doll or not, it will be used to fuel the flames around the Annabelle doll.
Well, what happened a few months ago? And they admitted that it was all a publicity stunt, that they started the rumor that the doll was missing. That the doll was missing. And then, from what I understand, they said it was to create more publicity for the tour.
See, you do that crap. I want to leave everybody with a couple of notes.
Yes.
First note is this.
That was at, what was that? The Cheese Castle.
That's the Cheese Castle.
That was the Cheese Castle, and I am the queen of cheese.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Then there's your nuts on Clark.
Nuts on Clark. You know, listen, I was going to say this to you if you were going to come and meet us in Gettysburg this year, that I wanted you to stop in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
No, I wanted you to stop in Chicago and pick me up some nuts on Clark.
And then one last thing, because what are you? You're clairvoyant or clairsentient? What are you?
I'm several Claires.
Yes, but you're not Claire Huxtable.
Huxtable. I missed Claire. I'm several Claires. I don't know. Is it? Oh, that's right, Todd. You know
all
what
that
I have
stuff's still in our.
You know what I have to say to you? Screw you, Todd.
Yep. I want to do a quick plug for the podcast that'll be joining. If you look online and you look up True Crime Today, Hidden Killers, Tony Bruschi is what you want to look for. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I'll be working out of, that whole conglomeration of podcasts. Real Ghost Stories Online, I'm still doing 3 podcasts a week on that. But he puts out so much content. I think he probably puts out, I'm going to guess, about 20 pieces of content per day.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a lot.
And some of it is current stuff. Some of it's classic stuff. Some of it's repackaged in different ways. But if you like paranormal, if you like stuff about, he's got a great podcast called The Grave Talks, which is kind of spooky ghost stories as well. Or if you like true crime stuff, this guy's got it covered. So I'm going to try and slip into that whole world and do a good job. I'm hoping.
I think you'll enjoy it, because when you really enjoy what you're doing, you tend to really just live for it. And it, you know, the job works for you. You don't work for the job.
Yeah.
And I agree, Vicky. I 100%.
Vicky says, I don't believe in coincidences. The timing is interesting. Amy had a good point, too. Here's my assumption. The tours eventually gave the doll more energy. Listen, I truly believe that could be the case, too.
Let me just, and this is one point I agree 100%. And let me just throw this out there. It's interesting, the location, because if I could feel all of that negativity myself as a living, breathing person, yes, I'm sensitive, I'm intuitive, but if I can feel all that, why couldn't that charge up?
Of course, right?
Whatever is going on with that.
It's Gettysburg. Think of all the energy there.
What do I always say? Everything I always say, it's a great point. What I always say, the entire town is the battlefield. The battle took place in town. Jenny Wade, her sister's home. Jenny Wade wasn't killed in her own home. She was actually killed in her sister's home, which is essentially just kind of like across the street and down about 100 yards. She was killed in that home in the middle of town, a couple of 100 yards from the orphanage. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's going on there. I've had so many experiences. I was sitting there. That was our 4th time there over the years. And I was sitting there the other night just thinking back through over the years, all the experiences that I've had. It's just mind-blowing. I mean, you don't even have to believe in spirits or the afterworld to have an experience there. I mean, you can have an experience. It doesn't matter what it is. And the fact that one place is so full of energy is just insane to me. Why couldn't it have amped up anything? Any of those objects that they brought in there? Any of those objects?
Deej says Gettysburg recharged that doll. Very good point, Amy and Deej.
I
think you're right.
I love that. I agree. I wouldn't even say it was possible. I would say it most likely did. And if that doll was out of case at all, I'm even more positive that it did that. Because again, what is the case going to do? Like literally, I don't understand. If somebody knows what putting it in a case does, please tell me, because I don't understand that. It's literally wood, and you can bless it and you can say all the prayers you want, but do you know for a fact that that's working? No. And it's probably plexiglass. So it's the cheap form. So I don't know.
And studies have shown that real glass keeps ghosts out and energies out better than plexiglass. Right? Yeah.
So before we go, though, let me mention 2 things really quick. I want to talk about Mindgarden really quick.
Yep.
if you are at all interested, because we're going to be kicking up Mind Garden a bit too now. If you're at all interested in starting your own podcast, we feel like our listeners, our followers, our friends, we've known a lot of them personally for years. If you're really interested in that, you can come to us. We'll help you. We'll help you start a podcast. You can talk about anything you want. If you go down the list of podcasts out there today, anything you're passionate about, anything you feel needs to be put out there can be put out there, and we'll help you with that. And, just go like our page on Facebook. Yeah. It was very, very easy. Deej and I met up in Gettysburg in 2023, and we actually went to Sachs Bridge and had a conversation with K2 meter with someone at the bridge. It was fascinating and it was great. So, but again, Mind Garden, make sure. And also, if you like what we're doing, if you have any topics you want us to go through, we're going to work on kicking up Sandy and Toddcast again. Go back, listen to, we have like 15 seasons in the books. Go back and listen to some of them. I
think it's 14 in the books, but
I don't know. I keep getting that wrong. So, but yes, and thank you to everybody for hanging out with us today. And we're looking forward to doing some more stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is fun. We never make promises because whenever we say we're going to do something, we never do it.
We never do, but yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And we may or may not do this again. Let us know if you think we should. Give us some topics to talk about. We will do that. But until next time, for the live cast and the podcast, bye.
Bye.
We make podcasting easy. Mindgarden Media can get you going on your very own podcast. With many years in the broadcast and audio industry, Mindgarden Media can edit, fully produce, and provide all the web distribution services. We're podcasters too, so we'll guide you every step of the way to a professional-sounding podcast production. For information, email the Mindgarden Media at gmail.com, the Mindgarden Media at gmail.com, or check us out on Facebook.